Every single one of us have. I'll give you an example. The average life expectancy today in North America is 78 years old. That's the average life expectancy in North America today. So let's just do some simple maths. Now, doctors and physicianists, they tell us you need to sleep 8 hours a day, right? That's what you're told. Sleep 8 hours a day. So if you sleep 8 hours a day, that means you spend 1/3 of your day asleep, because 1/3 of your day is 8 hours. 24 hours, there's 3 8s and 24. So you spend 1/3 of your day asleep. So is it fair to say you spend 1/3 of your life asleep? Is it fair to say that? So I'll give you an example. Let's just do some maths then. If you live until you're 78 years old, that's approximately 27,300 days. Approximately. It may be a little bit more. 27,300 days. So that means you would spend 9,100 days asleep. And that's 25 years you will spend asleep. Now let me share something with you. Can we agree when you're sleeping, you're in a whole different zone? You can't orchestrate or articulate. You can't work and sleep at the same time. You're out cold. The average person spends 25 years asleep. Let's just do some more calculations. If you work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, whether it's in a job or in a business, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, do you know how much time you would spend just working? 18.6 years of your life you would spend working. So what's 25 plus 18.6? 43.6 years of your life you spend either asleep or either in a job or in a business. How much time does the average person have left? Not much. This is why the world today is financially frustrated. This is why most people today are so busy being busy that when they're not busy, they're busy. Does anyone know people like that? I mean, how many of you know someone who's absolutely busy but they're still not financially ahead? Because the reality is, this is what most people spend their time on. And I always tell people all the time that time is the biggest asset in life, something you will never get back. You can never be the age of yesterday, can we agree? Time only goes forward. So some of you may be like, but I don't have time to do this type of a business. Let me just show you, everything's priority. And just imagine tomorrow you are about to go to work. And as you're about to go to work, you see that this is your kitchen. And your kitchen is flooded with water. And the water is coming out right here. And there's more water and it's absolutely flooded. How many of you would just close the door and say, you know what, I'll come back to this after work. My train is coming in 20 minutes. None of you. What would you do? And even though it's going to take you 6 to 8 hours to clean that kitchen, you would roll up your sleeve, call in your boss and say, hey, I cannot come to work. There's a very, very important emergency happening in my home that I have to take care of. You would roll up your sleeve, you would not go to work, you would start cleaning your kitchen. Why? If you go to work, you would have no home to come back to, yes or no? So here's the reality. Do you know why you just cancelled everything to take care of that? That was a priority at the time. So the reality is, wherever your priorities are is where your time goes, and wherever your time goes is what your priorities are. If you're complaining about problems, if you're complaining about time being a problem, how long have you had that problem? And what are you going to do to change that problem? You see, the way most people live their life is like this. Imagine tomorrow you're about to leave your house and you open the door, you see a pothole on the ground. I don't know if you guys have potholes in Canada. You guys know what I'm talking about? Right? I don't know if you guys have potholes, right? I was like, man, I'm in Quebec, they might not have potholes, but you guys get what I mean, right? You guys get what I mean, right? So imagine there's a pothole on the ground, and day number one, you trip over that pothole. You miss it. Day number one, you trip over it. Now, day number two, imagine if you leave your home and you trip over that pothole again. And day number three, you do the same thing. Day number four, you do the same thing. Day number five, you do the same thing. Can we agree you're not the smartest person? So here's the reality. If you've always done what you've done, you're going to always get what you got. If you want to avoid that pothole, move out the way from it. The reality is, if the last 5 years has been the same, the next 10 years will be the same if you don't change what you're going to do tomorrow. So if you don't have time, what are you going to do to change the fact that you don't have time? What do people usually say? But I don't have money. I cannot get started in this type of a business. You know, just imagine, ladies and gents, if you've been struggling, I tell people all the time, listen, if $500, you don't have $500 to start this business, I promise you need this business more than anyone. You need to get started as soon as possible. What's the other thing people usually say? But can I trust ACN? I think it speaks for itself. Imagine 25 years in business. Do you know today, the average business, 95% of businesses don't even last their first 10 years. 95%. Out of 100 businesses that start up, 95% of businesses fell within their first 10 years. ASEAN's been around for 2.5 decades. In those 2.5 decades, we're in 25 countries around the world, across 4 continents, millions of customers in revenue, over 700 million euros, which is over $800 million in annual revenue, featured on multiple third-party success periodicals, Success from Home magazine, The Wall Street Journal, USA Today, on The Apprentice in 2009 and 11. I think the success credibility speaks for itself. I always tell people, listen, if you don't trust in ACN, you need a checkup from the neck up. Very, very simple. You see, so here's one thing I can share with you. Look at the partnerships we have all around the world. Mega conglomerate, giant companies globally, where you can have a business in 25 countries around the world. So why ACN and why network marketing, ladies and gents? One thing I can share with you, the world has never been